You ever work your whole life just to be mistaken for a criminal in a building you own? Marcus Reed was that man, a CEO, a father, a mentor, and on a quiet Monday morning, he became a suspect. But let me take you back, because this story ain't about mistaken identity. It's about how even success can't outgrow a broken system. Marcus grew up in Eastwood Heights, where gunshots were more common than graduation caps, and ambition. That was something you had to hide just to survive. His mom worked graveyard shifts at a hospital. His older brother, caught up in the streets, gone by 16. Marcus could have followed the same path, but he didn't. He stayed in his room, learning to code on a second-hand laptop with a cracked screen. He said, "If I can't escape with my feet, I'll escape with my mind." And he did. Scholarships, college, internships that didn't pay him, but taught him how power moved behind closed doors. By 28, he launched his own tech company, Reed Logic Innovations. And where did he put it? Right back in the city that taught him pain, because Marcus believed in returning to the block. Not to flex, but to invest. He hired young black talent, started a coding boot camp for kids who'd been expelled, and gave returning citizens their first real shot at something beyond survival. He was building more than a company. He was building a legacy. So when Marcus walked into his own office that Monday morning, suit clean, smile ready, he had no idea the next 10 minutes would change everything. He stepped off the elevator, greeted the front desk, even passed out breakfast sandwiches he bought for the interns. Then, 2 police officers walked in. Didn't say good morning, didn't ask for ID. Just scanned the room like they already knew who they came for. And when their eyes locked on Marcus, one of them stepped forward. "Hey, what are you doing here?" Marcus laughed a little. "I work here. I'm the CEO." But they didn't smile, didn't nod, didn't hear him. They just said, "Step outside, now." He tried to explain, tried to reach for his badge, but one of them grabbed his wrist, twisted it behind his back, and the next thing he knew, he was face down on the marble floor, in the lobby of the company he built, cuffed, humiliated, staring at the shoes of the intern he just hired last week. Someone had robbed a neighboring store, they said. Black male. That was the description. No height, no clothes, no vehicle, just black male. And that was enough. 3 hours. That's how long they held him. Didn't matter that his face was on the wall in the office. Didn't matter that his staff pleaded with the officers. Didn't matter that building security showed video of Marcus arriving at 7:58 a.m. None of it mattered, because for those 3 hours, he wasn't a CEO. He wasn't a mentor. He wasn't even a man. He was a profile, a suspect, a threat. And when they finally let him go, he walked back into his office bruised. Not from the cuffs, but from the quiet. Nobody knew what to say. Nobody knew if saying something would make it worse. Because if Marcus could get snatched like that, what did that mean for the rest of them? Later that week, he called a staff meeting. The whole team packed into the main conference room, and Marcus stood at the front. Tie loosened, voice low. He said, I built this company to fight the odds, but even when we win, we still lose. So if the system won't change, then we'll disrupt the system. That day, Marcus didn't just go back to business. He went after something bigger. He started pulling records, building a case, because what happened to him wasn't just personal. It was part of a pattern. Turns out, over a dozen black-owned businesses in that district had reported police harassment over the last 2 years. Unwarranted searches, false detainments, unexplained shutdowns, and nobody was talking about it. But Marcus, he had the platform, the proof, and the rage. He scheduled a meeting with the city council, prepared a full presentation, PowerPoint slides, surveillance footage, testimonies, and on the morning he was set to deliver it. Marcus never showed up. His phone went straight to voicemail. His apartment door was unlocked, laptop still on, coffee half finished, gone. Just gone. And that's when people really started to listen, because now the story wasn't just about a CEO, it was about a threat to power, a voice that got too loud, a man who stayed in the hood, not because he couldn't leave, but because he wouldn't. Because what Marcus understood was that the hood doesn't just need hope, it needs protection. And sometimes the bravest thing a man can do is stay behind, even when he's already made it out. To build, to guard, to remember. Because if we all leave, who's left to keep the fire burning? Who's left to hold the line? They thought when Marcus disappeared, the movement would disappear with him. But they didn't understand what kind of seed he was. See, when you plant a seed deep enough, it doesn't die in the dark. It roots, it spreads, it waits. And what Marcus started, it was never just about him. It was about all of us. The morning Marcus vanished, panic rippled through the office. Calls to hospitals, police stations, no answers, no records. The city council postponed the hearing, said they were waiting for more information. But the staff, they weren't waiting, they were moving. Tamika, head of HR, found Marcus's handwritten notes in a folder labeled, "Break glass if they take me." Inside were documents, dates, times, case numbers, proof of police misconduct. Not just harassment of Marcus, but years of targeted pressure on black entrepreneurs in gentrifying zones. Marcus had been planning a full-scale lawsuit, a class action. He wasn't just going to call them out, he was going to make them pay. But now, he was gone. And yet, what he left behind was louder than his presence. The team activated his plan, step by step. Interviews with local business owners, footage backed up to cloud servers, press leaks to sympathetic journalists. They turned Reed Logic Innovations into a war room. They even reached out to a local civil rights attorney, Amari Fields, who said, "Y'all don't need to be quiet. Y'all need to be louder than they expected." That's when the threats started. Anonymous letters. "We know where you park. Drop it or else." Someone broke into the office, didn't take anything, just ransacked Marcus's office, knocked down every photo, sliced open his vision board like they were trying to erase his dreams. But the team kept pushing. They held a public press conference right in front of City Hall, broadcasted live on every social media platform. Staff, interns, even students from the coding boot camp stood behind Amari Fields as she laid out the evidence. Systemic harassment, manipulated zoning laws, false police reports. It was all there. And then, just when it seemed like the city had no choice but to respond, a man walked into the back of the crowd, hood up, face lowered. But Tamika saw him. She gasped, because it was Marcus, alive, but different, slimmer, eyes harder. He didn't walk like a free man. He walked like someone who had seen something. The team rushed to him, tears, hugs, confusion. He held up one hand. "Not here," he said. "They're watching." They ushered him into a side building, locked the doors, closed the blinds, and then he told them. He hadn't been kidnapped. He hadn't run. He'd been taken by people not wearing badges, but backed by the same system. He wouldn't say names, wouldn't say locations, but he told them this: "There's more at stake than this company. This goes deeper than police. It's real estate developers, lobbyists, city contracts. They don't just want our businesses gone. They want our roots gone." He pulled out a flash drive from his sock. "This has everything," he said. "Surveillance, recordings, emails. But if you release it wrong, they'll spin it. Discredit me, make me look unstable." Tamika asked, "So what do we do?" Marcus looked around the room. "I need to disappear again, just for a little while. But y'all need to finish what we started." And with that, he was gone again. But before he left, he said one last thing. "If anything happens to me this time, go to the place we buried my brother. There's more there than just grief." And just like that, he slipped into the alley. No goodbye, no plan, just trust. The next morning, Tamika and two others went to the old cemetery in Eastwood Heights. They found the grave, his brother's name carved into a cracked stone. But what was buried there wasn't just memory. It was a rusted metal box. Inside, files, photos, maps, and one envelope marked, "For when they come for you next." They thought Marcus Reed was just a man. But Marcus became something more. A symbol, a warning, and maybe a target. Because what's buried in that box could burn the whole system to the ground. But the question is, are they ready to open it? And what happens when they do? Comment and subscribe if you're ready for part 2, where secrets get exposed, lines get drawn, and the question changes from what will they do to us to what are we willing to do back.